Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your opening act. Welcome. It's my pleasure to kick off the proceedings tonight. Welcome to the 25th anniversary, if you can believe it, of NetAccess. I've been working with the NetAccess team as a strategic advisor since 2016, and I want to add my congratulations to the team here tonight. It's a pleasure to work with a company that has built such a great reputation and has been recognized as one of the best companies in our community, including the 2016 OBAA Chamber of Commerce Award here in Hamilton and across Ontario as well, to name just a few of the accolades that NetAccess has earned over the years. Over the next few minutes, you will hear from both political and business leaders as they join in the celebration as well. I do believe my joining the team had something to do with an argument that Dale McDonald, past president of Ira McDonald Construction, and I had with Don McNally on the football field in 1967. 67 or so, right, Don? And Don said, I'll get even with you one day. And here we are 50 years later, and Dale and I are still trying to figure out Don's next running play. Anyway, I enjoy my time with this leadership group, not only because they are talented and dedicated to their customers, but because they have such passion around their culture and the value it adds for their staff and customers. They truly believe their value proposition starts with their people, and they dedicate time and resources to recognize how much the people have contributed to their success and longevity. The constant factor through all of the changes in technology at NetAccess has been their commitment to create a customer-centric culture of success. 25 years is such a special thing to celebrate and truly inspirational for this Hamilton-based company. By the way, it's a silver anniversary, and the VP of Technology, Rocco Leo, is sometimes referred to as the Silver Fox. I don't know if there's a connection. In celebrating tonight, Don McNally will look back a bit to where NetAccess came from, and Dan Netiborski, the CEO, will take us forward to where we are going. So what was going on when Don McNally and Lorraine Razzo started up the ISP in 1993? Well, the easy things to remember were that the Toronto Blue Jays won their second World Series. But at NetAccess, they weren't saying, touch them all, Joe. They were saying to Don, read them all, Don, which started his business book collection and organizational culture. What else happened in 1993? Well, Jean Chrétien was prime minister. Bob Morrow was in the midst of a long-time run as Hamilton mayor. Bill Clinton was president in the United States. The big movies of the years were Jurassic Park, Mrs. Doubtfire, and The Fugitive. Sony Walkmans were selling for $29.98. The world population was 5 billion. The Pentium processor was invented. And the Montreal Canadiens won the Stanley Cup. Gary Hoy was a lawyer in Toronto. He fell to his death after he threw himself against the window on the 24th floor of a building in an attempt to prove to a group of visitors that the glass was unbreakable, an act he had done twice before. There's a rumor that he had a bet with Ron Service, our business solutions manager, that he couldn't do it 3 times. There was a company called Space Advertising, Inc. They attempted to launch a giant billboard into low Earth orbit. From Earth, the billboard would look almost as big as a full moon. After the project was canceled, a bill was introduced that banned any further space advertising. There's a rumor that this was a project of Rocco Leo's and Dan Netiborski's that led to their success, starting the company Clearstream before their amalgamation with NetAccess. Any truth to that, Dan? Maybe. In 1993, the U.S. Post Office issued a first stamp honoring Elvis. Stamp collectors mailed letters with these stamps to bad addresses to have them marked return to sender. Apparently, this was an idea of Lorraine and Ann's. The Barbie Liberation Organization challenged gender stereotypes by switching the voice boxes of hundreds of Barbie and G.I. Joe dolls and reverse shoplifting them back into the stores. The Barbies would yell, "Eat lead, Cobra," while the G.I. Joes would ask, "Want to go shopping?" Again, this is purported to be an idea of Lorraine and Anne's. Okay, so time for the main acts. To be a little bit more serious, I'd like to bring up our first speaker, David Carter, who is the Executive Director of the Innovation Factory from Hamilton, to bring his comments.
Thanks, Dennis. First act, that puts a lot of pressure on it. So my name is David Carter. I'm the Executive Director at the Innovation Factory. If you don't know who we are, we work with tech startups who need some help getting their business launched or their idea commercialized. We run as a not-for-profit, mostly funded by the province, but there's about a quarter of it that we have to go out to private companies and as a not-for-profit, beg, borrow, steal, whatever. Sorry about the steal, you don't know about that. So, but I want to say Net Access has been a partner since before I was even with the group. And it's been a partnership that's extended way beyond helping us with phones and money and those sorts of things. We get all the help we need from the people, and you've just been a great support. So I want to thank Don and the team for setting that stage. So I really appreciate that. I think of Net Access as a story that's so typical of everything that's going on in Hamilton, right? It's understated and not enough people know about it. So when I talk to people about Net Access and its history, some of us in the industry know about it, but it's just amazing. Some of the new people in town don't realize how much history we have right here in Hamilton in the tech sector. And I think that's Hamilton's story right away, right? So if you think, again, 25 years. And so when I first came here, I was thinking, okay, 25 years, it's a big number and it's a good thing to celebrate. And then I did the math and I was like, so 25 years ago, what year was that? And then I stopped and I couldn't do the math because no one can do math anymore. So I pulled up my phone and same thing. Dennis said, that's 1993. What was going on? Mark Zuckerberg was like 9 years old then. So this is how far back the tech industry goes. The World Wide Web was only 2 years old then. Not the internet, but the web part where we're clicking on things. That was only 2 years old. So think of how early on we were and what sort of groundbreakers we were. What was interesting is I had an intern that worked for me in 1991 that was calling on Hamilton. It was a kid named Elon Musk who... True story. It was an intern that worked for me, and I sent him to Hamilton to go and find out what computer retailers were there, and he came back with a report of all the different Apple dealers, which I was at Microsoft, so we just threw that away, and the other companies that were here in Hamilton. I remember even at the time, this was 91, being surprised how much there was in Hamilton then. So it's just a great story, and now you look at how many tech companies we have. I see a new company every day. We meet with about 285 new clients a year that are coming in with an idea. So fast forward, 25 years, and there's a ton going on. And I think really, was it because Net Access? Well, you can't directly relate all this to Net Access, but I think what happened is Net Access set an attitude that is still strong today in Hamilton, and that is, we're stronger as a group than we are as a whole. And Don will freely help anybody out in his team that just wants to ask questions. No one worries about the competitiveness of it or anything. You always hear the statement, if it's good for Hamilton, then it's going to be good for the rest of us. And a good example for me is we have an event we do with the Chamber of Commerce called Lions Lair, which is our big pitch competition. And Hamilton's still not Toronto, and so I talked to some of my peers that try to put these pitch competitions together, and if they're lucky, they get 100, maybe 200 people out. We pack Carmen's and Leona Station, wherever we have it, 550 people, we hit the max, and we get business people in the communities to support that. And so everybody I talk to that are my peers in different cities are like, Hamilton, you guys kind of punch above your weight, considering we don't have a BlackBerry, all these software companies in our backyard. So it's just really exciting that, anybody I bring to town, and a lot of them aren't from Hamilton, get this warm reception of, great, you're one of us now, and you're one of, you're in the hero group. So again, I think that attitude that you guys set early on has played out well. And today, if we look at the companies that we work with, the startups, and we add up all the funds they've raised since they've been here, it's $180 million. And again, we can point to Silicon Valley and other places and say, we're not that yet, but we started out with the steel industry and now we're moving to tech. We raised $180 million for startups. And it's in, small increments, it's nickels and dimes, and it's support from lots and lots of people. So it's a space that's on fire right now. A lot of people don't realize, so again, you don't know who's in these buildings, and there's a lot of people that won't know Net Access. We've got this life science community right now that is just on fire. So if there's technology being developed to help people have better lives, a ton of it's being developed in Hamilton, and a lot of those startups that we see are coming here. And again, it's the attitude we foster. The advanced manufacturing space. You think of manufacturing, you think of steel, and you think of lots of laborers and stuff. And I met with a company that worked in the DeFasco Innovation Group like 12 years ago, and when they shut that down, they said, do you mind if we buy the patents on the way out? And so that group of people went and created another manufacturing company, another manufacturing this really high-tech steel, that's super thin steel with plastic in between and steel in the bottom. So it's something that's inexpensive to make but has the weight profile of aluminum. Again, that's because that was technology that we already had going on here, and now the environment to commercialize that's great. Today, there's so many events going on in Hamilton. Today there was a big event for the Smart 21, and Hamilton was recognized as a smart city. And I have to admit, when someone said Hamilton was a smart city, probably that day I probably put another quarter in the coin-operated parking meters that are still the bane of my existence. That's why I say Hamilton, city of change, because you need change. You're going to use that, Jason, admit that. But so when I remember when they heard Hamilton Smart City, I was thinking, oh, we got a lot to do before we get to that. And then I found out that what they were really looking at was how much citizens have access to technology. And you look at our library, and the things available, you can go and use 3D printers and laser cutters and all kinds of stuff in our library. And they were talking about how much connectivity do people other than businesses have. And it opened my eyes as a resident as to how much we had by this third party body from somewhere outside of here. So it's just crazy what's going on. And then we're thrilled. My group just got awarded $5 million over 5 years to work on connected autonomous vehicles. So the province has said, that's the next big thing, right? Connected autonomous cars. And you go, well, that's like 12 years away, really, other than lane control. But it's not, because there's so many things that will change with connected autonomous vehicles outside of just getting a lift somewhere. Our seniors will be able to live at home longer. How we get goods delivered. Why do we need driveways if I have an autonomous vehicle and it can go off and do something else? Why do I have a car that has a garage if I'm probably not going to own the car? I'm going to be part of a fleet. So our whole city changes, which has got to scare the crap out of these other cities, but in Hamilton, change is par for the course. So we got awarded that money, and we're really excited about, just continuing what was already started with this whole new generation of companies. So first of all, my thanks to all of you, because really it was a team effort. So thank you.
Nicest men I've ever worked with, a man who's got a great memory. He just walks a little bit slower now. So I'd like to reintroduce you to, if you don't know, Don McNally, president of NetAccess.
Great. Thank you so much, Dennis, David as well. And it is a great privilege to be here to share in the celebration. And I have to say, first of all, the fantastic group of people I work with. It's amazing what, as a group, we can do together. And there is a saying, if you want to be successful, surround yourself with smart people. Well, I think I've done very well in that regard. And we have a fantastic group here that really... Sorry, okay, you're good? You can hear me? So here we are. And a key part of NetAccess is what we call our culture of success, a commitment, a passion for our clients' success. We orient our culture around what we call our pilot values: passion, integrity, loyalty, openness, and trust. I could go on and elaborate about all of those passions and commitments, but I think if you have a look at the pictures of our team, that tells you a lot. We have a lot of fun together. We enjoy working together, and we're all very passionate about the success of our clients. And looking back now, 25 years plus, the whole idea of starting NetAccess, and actually my original colleagues are here that got that going, it was a very interesting experience. For me, it was all about communication, collaboration. It was clear already in the late 80s that the technology was moving where it made really distance, location irrelevant. It was the ideas that you wanted to share and communicate, and the technology was rapidly moving towards creating collaborative teams anywhere, everywhere in the world. So we really had a vision for NetAccess. The initial setting in which I was working, a gentleman told me very seriously, look, Don, nobody is going to be interested in that internet thing. So I could probably take that to the bank, but here it is. 25 years on, we've created really a team that is collaborative, passionate, and the technology is interesting. The technology changes always. The key thing is what you do with the technology, how you use it to really enable and enhance your business, what you're doing. And at NetAccess, our commitment really is to being a thought leader, being out in front of the development and the intersection of technology with business to a point where we can really help our clients and our business community leverage that technology for their own success. And to that extent, we've been really grateful for the kind of community and support we have here in Hamilton. I think all of you who have done business in Hamilton realize it's a very tight-knit community, a sense of loyalty and commitment to the well-being of the whole. Everyone does better when we're committed to really improving the economic, social environment here in Hamilton. And it's been a great place to work. We're very proud that really started. We've been in the downtown core now for 25 years. And what a transformation has taken place in those 25 years. And the key really is that all the business persons here really have a passion to do well, but not just for themselves, but for the betterment of the whole community. And we're very pleased with how we've been able to play an important part in that. Evolution of NetAccess very quickly, just if you take a look at the timelines down in the hall, 25 years is really quite a few generations in the internet world, from infancy through to really advanced maturity in terms of what the technology does. And I think the fact is that what separates NetAccess or makes it interesting for us is not that we're committed to any particular technology. We're committed to using the available technology to enable businesses to succeed and do better at what they're doing. And in that regard, we really position ourselves as we move from just an ISP into a information and communication technology company, into a managed services company, and much more, is that we're really positioning ourselves as a thought leader for our clients. And we're really out in front, understanding where things are going and helping our clients take the right path for their own business success. So it's a great pleasure to have all of you here. A special thanks certainly to family. My wife Mickey's put up with a lot over 25 years plus, who's here. Many good friends here that I've known 25 years as well. And it's so wonderful to share this event and to look forward. As in the words of the song, we've only just begun. We describe ourselves as a 25-year startup. We're really just getting started in this adventure, and we're looking forward to the next 25 years. Thank you very much.
He's a great ambassador for NetAccess in the city of Hamilton, and you can tell why, because he's one of the most truest, honest, likable fellows you would like to meet in business. Next, we'd like to hear from Mr. James Mears from the Hamilton Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening. My name is James Mears. I'm the Chief Operating Officer with the Hamilton Chamber of Commerce. We represent about 1,000 businesses here in the Hamilton community. I'm not the Chief Executive Officer. People often say, what happened to Keenan? So I do all the operations. He's certainly the face of the organization, but unfortunately he's out of town tonight. First off, I'd like to thank Don and the entire NetAccess team for inviting us here. It's a great honor. NetAccess has been one of our long-standing members, 24 years, almost 25. So yeah, based on the numbers that Don sent. So effectively, as soon as you opened up business, you joined the chamber. And NetAccess is really a great exemplar business, I would say, in this community, working in the downtown, helping really with that revitalization that we see today for many years. And Don himself is certainly a great example of a leader taking action. He has served as an ambassador with the Hamilton Chamber for over 20 years. I just wanted to acknowledge that. That's a really important thing for us as a chamber to have someone of that caliber really bringing businesses and helping new members of the chamber integrate into the Hamilton community. And I know just a short story with NetAccess, this predates my time with the organization, but we moved downtown from the waterfront I think it was about 8 years ago, and the whole technology, internet was basically shut down for a number of days. So we had a lot of problems just opening up the doors. And I know Don and his team really stepped up at that time and helped us get through that challenge. So thank you, Don, for that. I'd like to, on behalf of the Hamilton Chamber, in fact, we've got a certificate acknowledging the 25 years that we'd like to present to you on behalf of everyone at the Chamber. So Don, maybe I can.
Great, thank you, James.
Yep.
It's been a great organization and always a lot of fun.
Great. Okay. Thanks very much.
And recently re-elected, a face and a voice you know well, Jason Farr.
Thank you, Dennis. A fine MC as always, and Don, a great character of many great characters in this city who loves this city quite clearly, and I love hearing you talk about how it's important for your staff to have fun. At the end of the day, they want to go home with smiles on their face, and at the end of the day, from a corporate person such as yourself, quite obviously, it means a productive office as well from a business standpoint, but the way you treat people obviously has a direct effect on how successful you are. And quite obviously, if I had not already polished off my champagne, I'd be doing a toast right now to 25 years of tremendous local success of net access here in the city of Hamilton. And I do that on behalf of our mayor, who's with Keenan Loomis right now in Toronto at a function, who was also recently reelected, who has been touting as a true champion, like Keenan Loomis of the Chamber of Commerce, the values through the last 6 to 8 weeks of the LRT. The LRT. Well, that's key not only for the new sidewalks and the beautiful streetscapes and the wonderful new vegetation that we'll be planting and the renewal that will be like no renewal we've seen and we've talked already and bragged about, and certainly I did at Doorsteps over the last 6 to 8 weeks, of all the wonderful things that have been happening in downtown over the last 8 years. But the reality is, it is a game changer for not the inner city, but the entire city. And a big part of that is what we're going to be laying underneath the ground in terms of technology. And VP of Tech, Rocco Leo, and I have had many conversations on this subject since LRT was a part of the conversation for about a decade now. Long before that, I might mention, Rocco is a very good old friend of mine. I believe I can safely say that you and I were responsible for Hamilton's first ever live stream. Am I correct? Yeah, at the Tim Hortons, the original Tim Hortons, we did a 48-hour book writing competition. And Rocco said there's this technology where we can actually put these cameras on you and people can watch online. And we did. And so I was happy to make some tech history, because otherwise my history in tech is how do I fix this IT department? And that's about as far as it goes. So I'm just really pleased on behalf of the mayor, our newly elected council, to be up here today to honor you on this 25th momentous occasion. I'm glad that I was part of last term of council when we honored you at council. And Don, truly, you are a great Hamiltonian. You are a wonderful businessman. You have an amazingly large heart, and it is catching on, and it's really important for me as the downtown councilor, but for all of us in this city. It is a terrific business, and there are terrific people, quite obviously, helping to operate that business. So on behalf of the mayor and everybody, I just want to say thank you very much, and I look forward to another 4 years with net access in the heart of the city.
Thanks, Dennis. Yeah, actually, it's been an exciting night, and I just want to say first off, thank you to everybody that I've talked to here tonight and who's helped over the years. All of our staff. Is that better? Can you guys hear now? We couldn't actually, we wouldn't be here for 25 years without our staff. And one of the things that I'm going to say from Don in particular, thank you. From all of the staff and your partners here at Net Access for helping shape culture and stressing the importance of it. Because over the last, I'm going to say, how long? I was here 2009, right? So for a few years here now, we've been working continually at shaping the team based on our values, and it's really an important aspect about how we grow. How we treat customers, how we treat ourselves, and the business wouldn't be around or growing without that emphasis. So thank you, Don. And I also wanted to just maybe, I'll talk about one thing. We started out as an ISP. I won't go too much into the future too much, but there was a question 25 years ago that I was asked. Our first, I've been in the business for almost 30 years now. We rolled out an ISDN or a dial-up connection 25 years to a customer, and they came back and they said, Dan, I need more bandwidth. And I was thinking, okay, man, you got 56K or whatever it was. How could you possibly want more bandwidth? Like, what do you need? And then, I'm going to say fast forward 25 years later, and, I'm going to say it happens all the time. Like, say last fall, I got asked by a customer, and they said, Dan, I need more bandwidth. And, we just rolled out fiber to this guy, and we're like, what do you need more bandwidth for? But, the business demands don't change. Is what happens. The technology changes, but the business demands don't. And this customer, if they don't answer their email within 2 hours, they lose their orders, $100,000 per hour. So it's not more internet that he needs. He needs high availability. He needs maybe his email replicated in our data center. And that's really how we've shaped our team over the last, I'm going to say since maybe the last 10 years. We've been slowly growing our people and our people skills and our knowledge of technology and solutions. And it's really about listening to our customers and making sure we ask the right questions. Maybe I was just a little inquisitive, but I think everybody here on the team is, say naturally inquisitive. And we ask a lot of questions. And what it ends up coming to is customers maybe don't ask the right question all the time. And we end up fishing out maybe what the right solution is for the need. And that's really where the future is going for us. So we're backing it on our multi-gigabit network that we have here. We've got 10 gigabit network between Toronto and Hamilton, 2 data centers. When you buy a network service from us, we connect it to both Toronto and Hamilton in a fully redundant environment. So it's an amazing network and infrastructure for us to build upon our other services. And the future for us is moving into the DMARC. We're now taking care of customers' networks, servers, workstations, and everything inside the business. Mainly because there's, I can say over the years, there's a lot of finger pointing. It's his fault, it's his fault, it's his fault. And we've actually eliminated that now by helping work with existing IT teams, especially by identifying where network bottlenecks are, where challenges are, maybe in application design or how business solutions work, and that's what our team does. So I wanted to thank everybody for coming, and Dennis, I wanted to thank you for emceeing tonight. I really do appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to the next 25 years. Oh, I had one request just to everybody here, anybody that wishes. In the small boardroom up at the front, there's a time capsule. We're actually going to mount that on a wall. We're going to keep it for 5 years. And if anyone would like to write a little message to our staff for 5 years from now, I'd appreciate it. Just a note of anything, what you think NetAccess is doing well today, what we should be doing in the future, maybe what you think we might be doing in the future, anything you like. I would really appreciate that. So it's just in this small room up at the front. So thank you.